right, so I've been asked to make a quick little video about how to get started, I guess, transcribing Morse code. I think I'm using that word properly. I mean to say that hearing Morse code and then writing it down in the dots and dashes so that you can then later decode the Morse code. Now, ideally, with enough practice, you just hear the dots and dashes and you just know the letter. And so then the whole process of transcribing and decoding happens kind of instantaneously. You just hear the beeps and you know the letter. And then you can actually start encoding Morse code and using like a Caesar cipher or some other coding method that's too much information though. Right now, we're just starting from the point of being able to recognize Morse code, which is a fun little series of beeps, long beeps and short beeps, and recognizing those sounds and then knowing that those sounds translate to letters in the International Morse code. Yeah. So first, let's listen to some Morse code, shall we? Here we go. It's beautiful, right? Stop that. If you're like me, when you start, it's going to be really difficult to make out individual letters. It's even difficult to kind of make out the individual long and short. You kind of really need to be able to listen to it for a while, and the best way to do that, honestly, is just to do it. Listen to it over and over and over. Listen to a 10-second segment, and then get out a trusty pencil and a paper and just start writing it down. Let's do that again. Ready? Okay, so the first two, I'm going to call them letters that I hear are a long, long, short, and then a long, long, long. Right? Listen. You hear that? Long, long, short, long, long, long. Listen. And I just listened, right? So listening, that's really a good idea. Secondly, though, sometimes I just don't have the time to listen, or I'm not quite able to hear them perfectly, and that's when I use an application much like the one that's already on my screen. It's called Audacity. In fact, this is the one that I use. Audacity is a free, I think it's even open source, piece of software. It allows you to edit audio, and this is what it looks like. It doesn't look too impressive yet, but you can zoom in on this. Check this out. Hit that little no, that's not a microphone, that's the magnifying glass. And we're just going to zoom in here, and right here we can see this long, long, short. See that? Long, long, short. And that's what I was hearing. I was hearing a da 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 da, right? And here's my long, long, long. And so now, as we've zoomed in, well, that's a lot of weird artifacts in the bottom of my screen, but whatever. As we zoomed in, we can now see more easily the structure of that Morse code, and we can actually see too this large gap. Like, see, these are what we're going to call normal size gaps, right? These normal size gaps are just the space of dead space between a long or a short, but these large gaps, these are the space between letters. And so we have one letter here, we have another letter right here. If we scroll over a little bit, we've got another letter right here, and we've got another letter right here. Look at this huge gap. Look at that huge gap. This huge gap, very likely the space between a word. Yeah, and we can scroll through this whole thing, just looking at it, and we can then use something like the International Morse code chart that we can find on Wikipedia, and we can start decoding this. Something like this, a single short signal is an E. Well, that's a fun one. I don't remember what that one is. 3 long ones is an O. Here's another short one all by itself. That's going to be an E. Here's a long one all by itself, but it's just a single long one. That's going to be a T. And again, I should have memorized all of it. I'm old enough to have memorized all of it, but well, I can't remember all of it yet. So that's one option, especially if you're using a you know, if you've got access to a computer. This Audacity thing is going to work both on a Mac and on a PC, and probably even on a Linux machine, like whatever, like computer you're going to be using, it's going to be working for you. Now let's pretend for a second that you don't have access to a computer. You've only got like a cell phone. We can fix this, right? There are apps similar to Audacity for cell phones. One of them is called Lexus Audio something. Let me see if I can find a little icon. Where's it at? Yeah, right there. Lexus Audio Editor. It's this one. It's this blue one right there. What? Man, it's hard. Right there. Lexus Audio Editor. This is the worst video you've ever seen. Trust me. This is what Lexus Audio Editor looks like. And as you can see, I've actually already loaded up the same file. You could load this file up in a couple of different ways. What I actually did was I hit the big red record button, and then I played the audio on my computer. You could play the audio from another cell phone, you know, and record it into here. You could try and find the file that I linked to in the assignment and try and open it up in here. When I tried to do that, it kind of gave me an error saying that it was only good for WAV files of like 16 or something bits, and I was like, well, I don't know what that means. So I just hit the play button on another device and I recorded it, because I don't have time for like file conversion types. I'm trying to decode a you know, a Morse code message. So anyway, let me go. I'm gonna hit that red button. I'm gonna hit the play button on my computer. I'm gonna hit the record button first. I'm gonna hit the then I'm gonna hit the play button on my computer so I get a nice good like recording. Then I'm gonna stop it, and then I'm gonna show you that we can see the same thing on this as we can see on the Audacity program. So let's go ahead and hit the record button. Oh, it asks me if I want to discard my file or create a new file. My phone's a little short on space right now, so I'm gonna discard it and create a new file. It's recording right now. Oh, apparently I've selected a spot here. I don't want to select a spot. Can we go to the beginning? Okay, that was about 10 seconds. Let's go ahead and stop it. And as we can see, did I hit the stop button? Stop. Oh, there we go. I hit the stop button this time. And as we can see here, you know, we've got probably over on this end, right? We've got a bunch of like, that was me talking. This is me actually playing it. This is me trying to make it stop, right? So we can test this. We can hit that play button right here. My phone's on mute. Hold on a second. There we go. Right. See, it's on my phone now. Let's pause that. Let's stop it. And then up here in the top corner, there's got to be a better way of doing this. There's a little magnifying glass, just like in Audacity. We can click that, and we're going to zoom in. Little zoom in button, and we can easily see now too, right? Let's get this in there where we can see it. We can now see those long and shorts starting to take shape right there. Long, long, short, long, 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 short, short. Pretty sure long, long, short is probably G. And then, hold on a second. That's two O's. And then I'm going to guess that the long, short, short is probably D at the end. So that first word is good. And again, that's what you got to do. All right. So practice hearing it, practice, you know, reading it off of this. And then, yeah, it's just about writing it down now. Now, the fun part, of course, is making a Morse code to respond. Yeah. Good luck.